Thank you very much. This is not the first time that I will contest for this office. I contested, and I was a very forceful contender in 2014. I lost to a friend, Austin Alege, that year, but I came second. I have a settled idea about this profession, the legal profession. I am beginning to feel that maybe my idea about it is overbloated. Maybe my idea about the legal profession regarding the standard we should be is beyond what is achievable. But I also said to myself that that cannot be, going by what the legal profession used to be in the past. If all that any leader of the association is able to achieve is in repositioning this profession to what it used to be in the past, it would have done a lot, even if it cannot take it a little further. Let's look at this from practical points of view. By the time we came into this profession, respect for the legal profession was as a matter of course. Honor and dignity for the lawyer was a presumption. I will tell you a story. I have a friend who is a lawyer and also a senior advocate of Nigeria. His father was a judge of Oyo State High Court. Many years ago, they were passing in front of Ikeja High Court at GRA. They were inside the car. He said when they got to Vine Church, immediately after the Vine Church building, you know, the High Court is on the left, his father removed his cap. He bent down in the car, and the young boy began to wonder. When they got to the front of the state hospital, the man put his cap back, and the son asked a question from him. Why did you have to do that a little while ago? He said his father told him that that was the High Court of Justice of Her Majesty. He was not inside the court. He was not before any judge. But just because he was passing through the front of that building, he felt compelled to pay that kind of respect. Do we have it today in this country? On the reverse side, let me give you another life experience. Some 2 years ago, we were at the 10th year anniversary of the death of Chief Kayode Shofola SAN. And issues bordered on judicial corruption and what have you. A justice of the Court of Appeal, in her contribution, said, please, you see me at the airport or anywhere outside, you want to greet me, don't say my lord. Just greet me, madam, good morning, or sister, good afternoon. Some people laughed. Why? She said, immediately somebody is introduced today as, this is justice so and so. The presumption is that it's one of the corrupt judges. They are all the same. She said, I don't want that stigma. Can you compare the two situations? But that is where we are today. That is as regards the judiciary. As regards us as individual lawyers, the Nigerian society today believes that the legal profession is part of the problem of Nigeria. Just last week, the ruling party was fighting over ex parte orders and what have you. So, where did we go wrong? And when did we descend to this abyss of depravity? Today, in our profession, parties go to court, forgetting that two parties fighting in the courtroom are in a contest, and the two of them cannot win, unless, of course, you settle your matter out of court. One is bound to win, the other is bound to lose. The one who wins will say, thank God Daniel has come to judgment. And the one that loses will say, oh, the judge has taken bribe. What will you say is the level of the trust and confidence of the Nigerian people in our judiciary today? What is the contribution of the lawyers themselves to where we are today as a profession? These are some of the reasons that made me to say something has to be done. As far back as 2014, I sat down and identified some of these problems. Between 2014 and now, it's about 6 years. The situation is worse today than it was in 2014. In terms of respect for the profession, in terms of independence of the judiciary, in terms of confidence on the part of the judges that they are doing that which is right. The judges and the judiciary as an institution is under constant harassment by the people. Is that what you find in other nations of the world?
So in specific terms, should we elect the president of the bar? What are those things that members should look out for?
They should look out repositioning of this profession. They should look at a vibrant and dynamic Nigerian Bar Association that will be a catalyst to change some of the ills I've mentioned to you about. I was part of this system when the going was good. I still know that I have a friend who is not just a medical doctor, but a distinguished medical practitioner who is still enviable of the legal profession today. Are you getting me? The Nigerian Bar Association must be a catalyst to advance the cause of the society. And that was why Sapara Williams, many years ago, said that the legal profession exists for the advancement of the society. How much of that advancement now are we doing? How much? Take our own members as a case in point. I've been a member of the body of benchers for about 16, 18 years now. A life member for about 12 years. And I know that we produce about 5,000, 6,000 every year, up to November last year. Has anybody sat down to think about where these 6,000 every year will get absorbed to work? Has anybody taken the data, statistics, of how many law chambers we have in this country that are capable of absorbing these people? Has anybody sat down to say, okay, some of these people that have virtually become victims of a situation they did not create for themselves, we can help them by transiting their knowledge acquisition into economic empowerment by taking 1, 2, 3, or 4 steps. Nobody seems to be thinking along that line. I've had cause to say that if I see a candidate who is persuaded by the things I've noted down as capable of addressing the problems and the challenges of the legal profession in this country, I will step down for him or her. But I have not seen one. We continue to mark time. We do not allow time to count. I will give you a few examples of what I think I can do. There are 2 fundamental objectives of the Nigerian Bar Association. One is their corporate responsibility to the society, and second, their membership responsibility to members of the profession. Corporate responsibility to the society will be talking about defense and the protection of rule of law. How much of it have we been able to do in the last 6, 7, 8 years? How much of fundamental human rights of the people have we been able to defend as an institution? Today, we are battling with obedience to court orders and judgments. Should we still be at that level in the 21st century under a constitutional democracy? That is with regards to our corporate responsibility. What of our responsibility to our members? I've talked about the wanderings, the unemployment, the loss of hope and hopelessness of young members of the profession. And these are the leaders of tomorrow. A good number of them now are finding things to do other than the practice of law. Now, can you imagine a situation where somebody, as a leader of the association, says, we set up a trust fund where young lawyers can access soft loans, come together in 4s or in 5s, start a partnership. You'll be surprised of how far that can go. I intend to lay the foundation of many prosperous legal practitioners. The first thing I will do is to set up this trust fund that will be available to 5 people, 4 people. You go there, you access the loan, and you are able to set up an office. We will also try as much as possible to either, if we cannot construct immediately, we will rent apartments in some strategic locations and convert it into a hub of legal activities for junior lawyers. Something like a pavilion, where you don't have to pay rent for the whole building. If it is just one small apartment that you go there, you do your work, you don't need to engage the services of a secretary as a permanent staff. There will be an apartment for secretaries where you can go, they will type your job, and you are practicing as a lawyer. And by the time you get to a particular level that you can rent a place, you go ahead and do that as individuals. But if you can get about 5 of you with some reasonable experience, this trust fund that I talked about will be available to you. All right? Now, some of us know that even in this country, the National Union of Journalists, they have an estate arrangement for their members. There's a very big estate, very close to us here, They call it Journalist Estate. What stops us from having a lawyer's estate in some of the state capitals? I will not live to live in that kind of a estate because I already have a place I'm living. But if the association can use its clout and we have a leadership with relevant contact and connections to acquire parcels of land in different locations, this land can be plotted out and be assigned to young lawyers who can then pay over a period of time. That's an option. Another option is to get a developer outright and let a developer, develop the estate into different units, which lawyers can buy according to their financial ability and capacity. Has anybody thought of that before? Today, a good number of them have told me that they don't even have the confidence of approaching police stations to say, our client is here, and all that. Because they complain about police brutality and harassment. No police will harass you now, you are a senior member of the bar. None will harass me because I'm a senior member of the bar. Today, every dictum and Harry prepares affidavit in the courts. Every dictum and Harry incorporates companies at the Corporate Affairs Commission. Today, you can prepare a deed of agreement, in respect of purchases and what have you of land for maybe 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, and you charge the client 500,000, he will be negotiating you down. And before you know what is happening, he has taken his matter and goes to another lawyer. Another lawyer will be ready and willing to accept 150,000 naira, thereby undercutting their own members. Because people have over the period forgotten institutional history of the association, they don't even remember that there is what we call legal practitioners remuneration fee prepared some years ago over the issue of deed documentations and what have you. These are areas that we need to look at in order to take care of our profession. So in summary, why am I contesting the MBA election? I'm contesting because I want to strengthen the relevance of Nigerian Bar Association to all its members, both senior and junior, but particularly the young lawyers. Number two, I want to take proactive and sustained efforts to change this negative perception that I've elaborated on before. If you continue to do the same thing the same way, you will continue to get the same results. There's a need for us to do something differently so that we can get different results. Thirdly, I'm going to vigorously pursue the defense, the protection, and the promotion of rule of law in this country. And of course, I'm going to defend and preserve the independence of the lawyers and judges. Thank you very much.